Well, it was very emotional for me because my producers and co-presenters and all of that, they knew about it, but I didn't have a single idea. So that morning, we were supposed to run to end at 9 o'clock, but they rounded off everything at 8:30, and I was wondering, we still have 30 minutes. What will fill the airspace? Is there anything that is going on that I'm not aware? And they said, just relax, just relax. I said, okay. But I was looking at what are we going to do to fill the remaining space, because the time for the program originally had not ended.
Okay.
So, and then they went on the break and then came back. And then eventually it was my co-presenter, taking an introduction to something new. And then when he started, 3-4 seconds, I knew, okay, he was talking about me. It dawned on me that, whoa, these people they've planned a coup for me. They had gone ahead to edit some of those, got past videos of me, those times when I used to present, high points, low points, whatever the thing is, put everything together. And it was really emotional. It was very emotional because that day, it was as much as I was happy moving on, but a part of me is in TVC. A part of me is in TVC because TVC made me, to a large extent, the capacity anybody think I have today, whatever the thing, with all humility, TVC gave it to me. And it's not just that. I found my wife in TVC. So TVC is like my in-law. So I owe them a lot of, that thing where TVC, I am in TVC, TVC is in me and all of that. So it was a very emotional morning that day, signing out of the program. And that was going to be my last time on air on TVC. So it was really emotional.
You worked with TVC for how long?
I worked with TVC for 11 years.
11 years.
I came to TVC on the 16th of August 2012.
Okay.
And it so happened that I was leaving TVC on the 18th of August 2023. So it was exactly 11 years and 2 days that I was leaving TVC. So it was really emotional. Yes.
Of course, like people would ask, what next?
Oh yes, people will certainly ask what next, and what is next is, of course, I will let the cat out of the bag practically. They will see it soon,
okay.
And the point there is we're not leaving the media industry yet. There's still so much work to be done. However, everybody who is in the industry understands that sometimes you move from one platform to another platform, doing the job, reorganizing, re-strategizing, upgrading, building more capacity, rubbing off on other people, learning new things. So that is what is going to be for me. So what next? We're still in the industry. So I'll let the cat out of the bag practically. They will see it and they will see it soon.
Okay.
Yes.
But is it going to be along the lines of broadcasting? Or?
Yes, we're still in broadcasting. That's why I said we're not retiring yet. We're still in the broadcast industry, contributing, because there's a lot of work to be done. So we're still doing that. But however, precisely where am I going to be next? Where am I going and all of that? They will see it soon. Everybody will see that soon.
Okay. How did your love for broadcasting start?
Wow. In fact, I didn't plan to be a broadcaster. Okay. The point there is my father, late Bishop Okwoche, was a rugged minister of God who was in the villages doing evangelism, planting churches from village to village, and preaching the word of God and so on. And his life as a preacher, his life as a man of God, impacted me so much that I was even thinking I was going to be a pastor. And in fact, he was nudging me somehow to become a pastor. Yeah. However, my mom is a nurse, so Mrs. Priscilla Okwoche, but she's retired now, as from being a matron, and she was nudging me to be a medical doctor because that was her field. So I was caught in between, but something happened. It was in my secondary school. I think I was going into SS1, And we got into SS1. I thought I was going to, because my mom had a lot of influence. My dad, because of the God factor thing, he was leaving it somehow, as much as he was nudging me, but he was allowing me to take that decision. But my mom was pushing me practically. You need to study harder. You need to, you're supposed to be a medical doctor, and so on. So in my SS1, we got into science classes in the first term and all of that. And I noticed that I was struggling with physics and chemistry and all the mathematics and add maths and, whatever. And my uncle said I should bring all my report cards in the past. And I did. My dad's younger brother. And he saw that I was not very good in mathematics. So he told me that, well, he is into guidance and counseling and all of that. So he knows it's not what I want to do. It is what I can do. So he knew at that point that science was not a good thing for me to do at that time. So he advised me. It broke my heart because I was still working towards being a doctor. I was looking at that someday. But then somehow I had to leave there into art classes, and then I started doing arts. It was a new thing for me because I wasn't expecting to do all of that. And then I was doing literature, government, and all of those. In the secondary school that time, they see those as less. Those who were the gang people were those who were doing, physics, chemistry, biology, and the art maths. They come with all the big textbooks, and then they intimidate everybody. So at that level, we thought, the high thing was to do sciences. But however, it was then I switched into arts. But that arts took me into reading a lot, reading literature, reading a lot of so many things, and the reading culture got into me. But my step into the media started in the university.
Okay.
It was practically precisely in the University of Maiduguri, that I got involved into. I was doing MCs on campus. I was doing a lot of things. I was organizing shows. I was into music. I was into acting. I was into shows. I was into student politics. I was into all of those things on campus, and I was still a student pastor at that time. So I was bringing every single talent in me and exhibiting it at all levels. So, however, one of my friends called and said, there is a new FM station in town called Peace FM. Can we go there? They've been test running with music. Can we go there to test if we can say something, be the presenters or something? I said, okay, why not? And we went. The first day we asked the station manager, you don't have presenter. It's one of those FRCN stations that they were opening here and there.
Yeah.
So we went there, and we asked him, can we do some presentation? He said, why not? And that was how we got in. So he printed some request cards for us. So we go to the university, share them. People will send requests to their friends, and then we collate all, bring them back to the radio, and then we begin to present, call people's names, sending greetings to. And it was my first time to be on radio.
What's yours?
That was in 2004. That was in 2004. University of Maiduguri, Peace FM. He was just opening that FRCN, one of those FRCN FM stations. So in 2004. So it was my first time on radio. I was so overwhelmed because I had never spoken on radio. I'd never spoken on that kind of platform before. So I did it for a few days, and then I started getting used to it, and then I started loving it, and then I started looking forward to it. Then I started thinking ahead, what I'm going to say tomorrow, and so on. So that was my first time on radio. And I did it as, okay, it's one of those things. It's just like emceeing, where it's just like doing shows. It's just like politics, one of those things that come and go. However, when we finished our university, and then everybody finished, and then we wrote our exams and we left. Okay, so now what next? But however, going back to my place, Tukpo in Benue State, I became a student. Sorry, I became a teacher. I was teaching in Wesley High School. I went there to teach. I was teaching English in junior classes, and then teaching government in senior classes. And then I think almost about a year into teaching, Joy FM was coming up. They were setting up Joy FM Otukpo, and they were test running, and it was an amazing sound at that time because there was no FM station in the whole of that area. Rather, we used to get signals from Enugu, Cosmo FM and all those other FM stations. That's what we listened to. But however, that was the first time ever that kind of station was coming amongst, the people there. So there was a drama that happened that day, and so when they came up, so I decided to go there and check to see if there's any opening, because I hear they were conducting some recruitment. Called out for recruitment. There were human beings from everywhere. The whole place was packed full to capacity with people who wanted to be presenters. It was a large crowd. So I went there on the first day to see if I could. I couldn't. I left. I went there the second day. I couldn't. I left. The third day, I decided to change strategy. Instead of going as one of those audition people, let me just change strategy and walk straight. So I wore my suit, with my tie and all of that, and then went in there. So I was passing through the crowd. Excuse me. And that was how I walked directly into. So when I got to the gate man was like, okay, sorry, what do you want? And you have to wait for that. I said, no, I need to see the manager programs. So my approach was different from any other person, because the others were waiting for their numbers to be called. I didn't get a number, because if I was going to get a number, I was going to be maybe number 200 and something or 300 and whatever as the case may be. However, I walked and said I needed to see the manager programs, and they said, okay, come in. I was looking different from the other people, so I went in there and I got to see the receptionist. I asked for the manager programs. He said, well, the manager programs is not around. Do you have an appointment? I said, no, I don't have an appointment. I just came in to see him. He didn't know who I was and all of that. So he said, okay, fine. So can you sit down? And I sat down, waiting for the manager programs. Eventually he came in, and then they said I should go see him, and I went to see him. So when I got to his office, walking into his office, I was wondering, okay, what am I going to tell the manager programs? But however, I went in there, greeted him politely, and sorry, what can we do for you, young man? And I said, well, I came in here for audition, actually, and I wanted to know if I could have a slot. And he was like, did you see the crowd outside? I said, yeah, I saw the crowd outside. But the point there is, because of the nature of my work and the other things I do, I won't be able to join that queue. It's going to be a long queue that I'm going to. So I decided to come. And he saw my courage and decided, okay. He called the head of presentation, and they took me to the studio, auditioned me. Now, the dramatic thing there was that, you know how our Nigerian thing is, when your oga tells you, take this person, go and work on him, you think that is his candidate. Good. So they were sort of giving me some preferential treatment, maybe, So went into the studio, and then they told everybody in the studio to go out. So I went in there, and then I did the audition. They said, can you take it again? Of course, for every extra take, you're better off. So I took the extra take. And that time, one significant thing about my voice was that I was singing in the university. I was the bass man for an a cappella group. So my voice was thick. My voice was thunderous at that time. But now I've used it to buy akara and all of that. So, but however, so when I read the news and all of the things they said, my voice was thick and very strong. And I think that was what they liked, because when it comes to the finesse and phonetics and diction, I didn't really have those. But the texture of the voice, the baritone was heavy. So when they took the recorded, edited and took it to the manager programs, and I sat down there in his office, and he listened to it. He scribbled some things down on the paper. I didn't know whatever he wrote, but he said, congratulations, you got the job. I said, what? Just like that, he said, of course, I like your voice. I like what you did here. So that was how I got the job. So got the job, and then I thought I was going to come in to be a presenter, because, that's what everybody who is going for the first time into media thinks they're going to be. So, and then when they gave me my appointment letter a few days after that time, they said I was going to be a reporter. I was kind of heartbroken, because I was thinking I was going to be the presenter. So, but I said, okay, let me take the job. So that's a summary of how I started and got into the media. But at the early stages, I was still thinking there was something up there, something different that I was still going to do. Every young person looks forward to that NNPC job, all the oil business job, all the banking. At that time, banking was a big phenomenon. So we were still looking for those big things to happen. But then it didn't come. And then gradually it started dawning on me that maybe this is what I might do. So it happened like that. And then I was in Joy FM for about 2 years. And then when I did that 2 years, then it was time to go for my NYSC. There was a dramatic thing where, I had to go back to university, to clear up one or two, stuff that I had, and then came back. So when it was time for NYSC, I was expecting that maybe to work it, so that I can serve where I'm working. But somehow it didn't work. Those who were supposed to do it didn't do it. I didn't know that maybe destiny was taking me somewhere else. And that was how I was sent to Benin. I was sent to Benin to do my youth service. When my mom heard Benin, he said, Benin, why are they taking you to Benin? Why not somewhere that our people are? Benin, who is in Benin? But the point there is, I said, don't worry, let's just go. Wherever they send us, let's just go. And I went to Benin, and it was in Benin that I got introduced to TV. Because ITV Benin, that was where I served. And then they have a radio, they have a TV. There's another dramatic thing, but due to time, I might not go into all of those anymore. But they gave me my appointment letter a month before the end of my NYSC, because as a youth corper, I was already a newscaster on TV. I was already a program presenter on radio and all of that. I could report, so they introduced me to TV in Benin. And I was doing radio, doing TV. So, and then I worked in Benin for 5 years. So working in Benin for 5 years gave me that foundation of what TV is, because it was my first time. But I started learning what TV is, the nuances, all of the issues around TV, the comportment, reporting for TV, how different it is from radio and so on. So that was how it was. And it was in Benin that I really now made up my mind, this is going to be my career. There's no going anywhere anymore. Let me stay here and do this thing. And it was also in Benin that I started going for real training, some professional trainings. The BBC trained us at the time. There were other media institutes that trained us at the time. And also I came for professional media training at the FRCN training school. All of that. That's where I started becoming conscious of my diction as a presenter, phonetics, and all of those. So speaking and public presentation and all of that. That was when I started knowing all of those things. So when it was time to move to TVC, a friend in Jos reached out to me. Did you read the Vanguard of yesterday? There was there's an advert for something media. Did you? I said no, I didn't see it. So he said, go and check. And I went running to check the Vanguard of the previous day, and I saw an advert there. I applied, and that was how it was. And they say it was the media house was looking for blah blah blah, looking for people. I applied, and when it was time, they invited me for audition. They came for audition, and then from one audition to interview, from one interview to another interview, and all of that. And then at the end of the day, they said, congratulations, you got the job. And that was how I moved to Lagos. To Lagos in 2012, and to TVC, and I've been with them since that time until now. So as it is already, I see myself as media is in my DNA now. There's nowhere else we're going. We can serve in other capacities when we leave, or what we do now can enhance other endeavors. But the media is the main thing that we're going to do going forward. So that's how the thing is, and we became pillars in the media. Thank God to His grace on us. Being in Benin, we became a lecturer. At the Nigerian Institute of Journalism, where we're molding people, teaching people what media is: presentation, diction, elocution, what media audience is, media literacy, press freedom, all of those things. Catching them young. So that's the brief of my journey.
What does it take to be a good broadcast journalist?
Well, a lot of things are involved, but it is more, to a great extent, it's more attitudinal. because like it is said, anybody can do anything. But the difference between the person who is doing it and the person who is not doing it is the passion that the person has. In the media, a lot of people come with the mind of, oh, I want to blow, I want to be famous, I want to be rich, I want to be that person, very popular, where everybody is talking about me. Anywhere I go, people see me, I'm the celebrity. A lot of people expect that. But if that is your motive first, if that is your first motive, then you won't go anywhere. Because when you have all of that, then what is the substance? Because by the time they are looking forward to the substance, and then if you can't deliver the substance, then you are empty. So when they see you, no matter how handsome or how beautiful you are, the moment they see you and get used to you, please, can we move to something else if you don't have substance? So that's how the thing is. So it takes discipline. It takes passion to be a good broadcaster. Of course, the issues of diction, elocution, phonetics, all of those things will come. But you may have all of those, and if you are not disciplined, you won't go far. If you're not humble, you won't go far. Because this is a platform that you interact with everybody. You can interview the president, you can interview the king, you can interview the queen, you can interview senators, you can interview ambassadors, anybody, you can interview all of them. So you have access to, you have a network, a huge network of resource people who matter, people who are turning the whole country, deciding the destiny of the country. You have their contacts at your fingertip. Some people can get carried away by things like that. So the moment you are carried away like that, and anywhere you go, people see you, people acknowledge you, it gets into people's head, and at the end of the day, it whittles down or reduces their capacity and whatever they're delivering. Humility, passion, discipline are even the foundational things that any broadcaster should have. If you have those, then you can be patient with the industry. You can be patient with the kind of work you do to reap the benefits. The benefit is not about the money that hits your account at the end of the month. If you're looking for that one, Nigeria may not necessarily be the place where the money that hits your account at the end of the month takes you anywhere. Nigeria may not be the place. Maybe in the Western, maybe in the developed world, yes, you can do solely that. You can focus only on the money that hit your account and still be the celebrity and still be that huge person. But here, the platform, it's only an enhancer. So when you get in there, there are so many other things you can do that will bring the kind of money that you want. But number one, you have to be disciplined, you have to be passionate, and then you have to be humble.
Thank you.